Hi, everyone, and welcome to creating an instructional video for today's digital students. I'm Jennifer Culver. I'm the manager of SMU's online production services team, and I'm really lucky to have with me one of our multimedia specialists on that team. Corey Moran is here as well. He's going to be helping out and hopefully fielding some of the questions as they come up as well. To keep within the 45-minute limit, your microphones have been muted, and so we encourage you to put any questions that you have in the chat. The moderator, Ms. Sumi, our ATSD in Meadows, will ask the posted questions, or she'll answer them herself. Corey's welcome to answer those questions in the chat as well. And if your question doesn't get answered, then we will make sure to follow up with you after the session. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And I really wanted to start talking about creating an instructional video by talking about the things that we do before we get to the point of creating the instructional video, because how it will go much more smoothly if you take a little bit of time to do some prep work ahead of time. And a lot of that prep work will pay off not only when you're in the middle of recording in the video as well, but also when you're in the after part of that video and you're looking at final editing and components like that. So some of the prep work that you can do before you get to the point of getting onto one of the tools that we have here at SMU and hitting the record button is thinking about and pulling together all of the content that you think that you're going to want to talk about, whether you have those on PowerPoint slides, or if they're on Google Slides, or if you just have created a selection of images that you're going to want to be referring to. Pulling all of that together ahead of time in some kind of organizational structure will help you not only stay on track in the message that you're wanting to deliver, but it'll also help you as you determine pacing throughout the content. It also helps to have either a script or some kind of outline or bulleted talking points that you want to pull together to guide you and to guide your discussion through creating that video. The script can be really helpful because when we get to the end and we talk about putting in captions or a transcript or things like that to make this instructional video accessible, then you'll already have all of that completely done. But a lot of people don't like working from a script and feel that that makes them sound very forced when they're delivering content and talking about things. So even an outline is really, really helpful because, again, it will keep you on track as you're moving through all of the things that you want to make sure that you cover as you're covering this instructional video. We also want to make sure before you get started that you have the tools that you need to carry off pulling the video off, and that includes some type of microphone, and camera is optional but certainly preferable because we know that our students like seeing your faces, and a lot of desktop computers don't come with either. So before getting started, make sure that you look on your computer and make sure that you have what you need as far as microphones go. There are some headsets that you can get that will have that microphone attached to it that can help with that as well. There are some monitors that come with webcams attached to them. There are some small webcams that you can just stick on top of monitors as well. So make sure that you have the tools that you need. It also would be great if you practice and time yourself as you're going through the content. Even if the words don't stay exactly the same because you're going off of an outline, if you can practice and see how long it takes for you to deliver the content that you're working on, just know that we aim for instructional videos in online production services to be around 5 to 7 minutes long. That is about the attention span that we have. I know that a lot of you are covering content that will take a lot more than 5 or 7 minutes to cover. And in those cases, what we encourage our instructors to do is we encourage them to chunk the content. Find places either when you're transitioning to a new slide or you're transitioning into a different point where there would be a natural break so that you can chunk that content. We can show you how in Panopto, SMU's video repository system, how we can actually take those chunked videos and turn it into a playlist, or we can put the videos on different pages in Canvas. So we can just break up the content a little bit as students move through it and they begin to learn your material. Also, if you think that some of the instructional videos that you're making now, you'll be able to use long-term in other courses, for example, then we advise not mentioning the day, or at least the year, and not mentioning the course number, because sometimes course numbers change as well. And so this helps keep that video a little bit timeless so that you can use it from one semester to the next, and unless you've got content that focuses on current events. And then finally, we encourage you to pace yourself. A lot of us tend to talk very quickly when we're recording and when we're reading off of something. So part of that practice time is also for you to pace yourself and pace your timing and how long it's taking you to move through the content or move through the slides as we go through them. Corey, I know you're here with me. Anything you'd like to add about this part, about the preparation beforehand? I know you guys have a lot of things that you like to encourage folks to do.
I think you pretty much nailed it all, to be honest.
Okay, great. And we will kind of start beginning to move into the tools that we have to use. At SMU, we have a variety of tools that you can use to create a video. Some instructors set up Zoom sessions for themselves and then share the screen with their PowerPoint slides and record from there. Some instructors are using Panopto, our video repository system. That's what I'm going to model today, is using Panopto. But we also have the Adobe products, and if you're already pretty familiar with some of those Adobe products, like Adobe Premiere, then you also have access to that as well. But we're going to start with Panopto. You can find Panopto in Canvas, and in the slide that I just showed, usually you'll find it on the left-hand side of your navigation menu in Canvas when you're there. If you didn't see Panopto showing up on the left, right around here somewhere, usually it's towards the bottom, but if you don't see it there at all, then in Canvas, if you go to Settings and the tab that reads Navigation, you'll be able to see Panopto down at the bottom as one of the options that's been disabled. All you have to do is drag it to the top and hit Save, and Panopto will appear here as well. I want you to go through Panopto via Canvas, because opening up Panopto in your Canvas course automatically asks Panopto to create a folder for that course. And since you're going to be doing recordings for that course, then this will be a natural place for them to go. And so just by clicking on it right here, you've already kind of made the folder that you need for things to reside in. And once you're in your Panopto course folder, you'll see a button that says Create. And then when you point on the down arrow, you'll see several different options of how you can bring content into Panopto. We're going to go over this first one, recording a new session, but you can also upload a video into Panopto. So if you did record via Zoom because you felt more comfortable in Zoom, that's perfectly fine. You can upload it into the Panopto system here so it can reside in your course as well. Here's where we also will take videos together and make a playlist, and we can even make folders. But for now, we're going to stick with clicking this one and asking it to record a new session. And the first time that you do this, Panopto will ask you to download the Panopto player onto your computer. And go ahead and let Panopto do that. Because when you do, then on your desktop, you'll see a little symbol for Panopto. When you open it, you'll see the Panopto recorder, and it looks like this. And this is what we'll use to make those instructional videos. And Panopto gives us a lot of choices, and it asks us a lot of questions on this recorder. And this is another one of those preparatory steps to think about exactly what you want to be shown while the video is going on and where you want Panopto to record. So, for example, here on this screenshot from Panopto, Panopto couldn't find this person's web camera. And so that, because for right now it says none. So I'll show you that that's how mine defaults as well. So I'll show you in a minute how I can help Panopto find that for me. It did find the microphone. And here are the choices for recording. I can have it record the whole screen, or I can have it record just the PowerPoint slides as I'm moving through them. And if you have more than one monitor, Panopto can record both of those screens if you want. Here's where it depends on what your content is doing as far as the choices that you'll make. Because if you're recording off of PowerPoint, it's best to just click the button here and let Panopto capture that PowerPoint, because then it won't show anything else that's on your screen. And in that sense, Panopto is very much like Zoom. So for right now on Zoom, when I chose to share my screen, I chose only the PowerPoint slides to share, not the whole rest of my computer. So you can't see all the tabs that are open on my browser, because that makes Corey and other people crazy. So instead, so I don't make people crazy with all of my tabs. I just let people see the PowerPoint slides themselves. Panopto can do the same thing. You don't have to show them everything else that's on your screen, the wallpaper on your computer, any of that. It will just record the PowerPoint slides, and it will only advance when you advance the PowerPoint slides as well. Panopto then will, if you want to, you can then even upload the slides into Panopto, and Panopto will make sure everything syncs together with what you were doing with your video and the slides themselves. If I wanted a webcam, then here's in video is where I would put that webcam. And I would encourage you, if you have one, to use it, because the students really like seeing your faces and they like hearing you as you explain things. I can tell Panopto where I want this recording to go. And I can, if I want to, click the preview so I can see exactly what Panopto is going to be showing as we're doing that recording. So there aren't a lot of buttons on the Panopto recorder, but instead of just clicking record, it does help to think a little bit about exactly what you want Panopto to record.
Jennifer, can I ask you a quick question real quick?
Of course.
Christine was asking if the students have access to Panopto.
They do.
There you go.
Here's where, again, in choosing sources, you can choose to have the webcam or not. And once you've clicked on all of the sources, you can see here the video's been chosen because there's somebody's webcam. And now you can see what it looks like in the recorder when it's on. You can add more video sources if you want them. Once you've got your sources chosen, it really is helpful to then just do a really small test. And that test will help you in a couple of ways. It'll make sure that the recording is really recording everything the way you want it to be. But I would also encourage you to record a little bit longer than just that, maybe a minute, just to go over a slide or two, so that as you're talking, you can also play back the test. As much as I know some of us don't like listening to ourselves on recordings, and I'm one of them, but playing some of that back just to make sure that the sound quality is good, that when you're up there in the webcam, up in the corner or off to the side, that they can see you, that the lighting is good enough to see you, that the slides are coming through clearly, all of those kinds of things that when you transitioned from one slide to the next, were there any problems? It's just really helpful to just go ahead and just do a small test and then look at that test and make sure you're happy with what the result is before stopping and recording a whole 5 to 7 minute video or even a longer video. So then you're going to hit record, and after you hit record, Panopto will put your video into your Panopto system, and it will leave a copy of it on your desktop if you want. And then you've got some finishing touches that you can do when your video is finished. And the first one lies with captions. It's really important that our videos are accessible to all of our students, and that includes having captions and or transcripts available to them so that they can access the content in the video in more than one form. But even beyond the required level of accessibility, a lot of people really enjoy having the captions on as they're going through a video. For some people, it helps them stay focused as they're going through the video. And for others, it helps them see words, especially if we're introducing terminology that they may not be familiar with yet, to see that word as well. So there are a lot of good reasons to make sure that the captions are there in our video, but we also have to make sure that they're correct. And so Panopto will automatically generate captions, and the captions that Panopto generates are around 70 to 80% correct, depending on how clear your voice was for Panopto when you were recording. That means 20 to 30% of it Panopto gets wrong, and sometimes those captions make quite unfortunate word choices. Panopto will let you go into the viewer in editing mode. We'll show you where all this is in a minute in Canvas itself, but just to kind of show you where we're going to walk through as we walk through Panopto, as you go into caption editing, one of the reasons we really liked Panopto when we were looking at this service was because other services require you to download captions, fix them, and then re-upload them again. YouTube, for example, that was how we had to do captioning with YouTube. You would have to upload them, download them, fix them, and upload them again. And when we had Kaltura before Panopto, that was the same. But in Panopto, to fix your caption, all you have to do is click on the line where you want to make an edit, make the edit, and then click off to the next line again, and then hit apply, and you're done. Your captions are fixed. If you give Panopto just a minute or two, your transcript will be fixed as well, and everything is done. So it really, if you've got that short 5 to 7 minute video, it only takes a small amount of time to skim through the captions, make a couple of corrections. I have found, as I've been correcting captions in Panopto, that one of the places where Panopto struggles, for example, is where to end sentences. And so if Panopto can't tell from the voice itself or from a pause when a sentence is ending, Panopto will kind of put set periods in places where maybe a comma should go instead. So those are some of the things that you can look for as you're checking some of your captions. Those captions can then be downloaded in Panopto, and you can create transcripts that you can attach to your videos in Canvas, or that you can put into the file section of your Canvas course if people are wanting to take a look at them. Sometimes we have people asking for them because they'd like to read through the content, and sometimes they even want to annotate and they want to be able to mark on things, and we just like to give them the content in lots of different ways. Once you have your captions the way you want them, the video is in Panopto, it's ready to share with students, it's ready to be put onto the Canvas page. There are some extras that you can think about as well when you're using Panopto. One of them is that Panopto does allow you to put some quiz questions inside your instructional videos. So if you're creating some content and you'd like to stop along the way and just do some checks for understanding to make sure that the students are pulling from that content what you're hoping they're pulling from it, Panopto has inside of it a way to create some really short multiple choice questions that you can insert into the video so that the video will stop, the question will come up, students can answer the question and then just keep going. And that gives you as the instructor some formative information before you go into the next session with them or before you start the next day with them, so you can see how the students are doing with the material that you've been teaching them. We also have some really great analytics inside Panopto. So if you're wondering if students are watching the videos, Panopto can tell you exactly if they are watching the videos, which I think is very, very helpful. You can see if they're watching them, you can see how much time the students are spending in the videos that are being watched. So you can tell if they're going through them very quickly. And you can tell which videos they're going back to, which is also really good information because you can see that they found value in those because they're going back and they're looking at pieces again. That's another good reason to be kind of chunking the videos. And that is so that when students do want to go back and look at something again, they know which small video they can go back and re-look at for something small. And they might be more likely to go back and look at something that's only a couple of minutes as opposed to trying to find it in something that's 30 to 45 minutes long. And then finally, we have a tool at SMU called PlayPosit. It is another way to ask questions inside of a video. PlayPosit offers different kinds of questions than Panopto does. And so I just wanted you to see both. You can put in multiple choice questions, actual open-ended questions. You can actually put in a pause during a video and type in a comment of something that you want them to consider. Surveys, all sorts of pieces in there. And so with that, I'm going to go into Canvas and then go into Panopto. So I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint slide and move over to the recorder first itself. Masumi and Corey, while I'm pulling that up, are there any other questions?
There's a couple. I was able to answer them.
Great.
So yeah, I think we're doing good so far.
Great, thank you. Here's an example of the Panopto recorder. This is the one that's currently on my desktop. So you can see that the microphone is moving a little bit as I'm talking. And you can also see that I've asked it to record to show the main screen, which is where you all are. So you can see yourselves on there too. And Panopto never finds my webcam. So I always have to find it for Panopto, but it's there. And now it's not going to show it because Zoom is using it, but that's where my webcam is. You can see where it's here. And when I choose it, it will be okay. And here's where I can click that I want to show a PowerPoint. Panopto is telling me I don't have one in presentation mode, but that's okay. If I move into presentation mode, I can click this button and Panopto will start recording the minute I hit begin slide presentation. And it sees the slide presentation that's currently up, and that's the one that it's following. So now I want to show you a little bit of what some of this looks like in Canvas as well. So here are So here in Canvas, in my Canvas course, I have Panopto right here on the left. When I click on it, you can see that Panopto has my folder open, and this is the name of my course, and it's the term that my course is in. This is a development course, and so it's in the development term. But if this was a spring course, it would have spring 21 right up here. So this is the current one. Here's that create button. Here's where I can record videos. Here's how I can make the playlist. Here's how I can, if I need to, create a whole new folder. But for now, I want to take a look at a video that's already in Panopto. So if I've done my recording, I used my recorder, I clicked on my PowerPoint slides and my webcam, and I have my video the way I want it. Then once it's in Panopto, there are some other things that I can do to get things ready. And that involves hitting this edit pencil right here. And when I hit on that edit pencil, you can see I've opened up into a whole new tab all of Panopto's editing. Here is here we go. Where this one in particular doesn't have the captions in it. It has the quiz. Here is where I have added a quiz question, and I have one ready to add. So if I wanted to ask, then I've got one of my questions done. I can say I'm done. And now I've made a quiz question. Now I want to come and check my captions. And here are Panopto's automatic captions. And here's where you can see all of the different errors in captions. I want to pick one that I've already worked on a little bit though. So let me go back into a different folder. Let me go. There we go. Here are some videos where I've already been working on the captions. And you can see that all I have to do is click and say, then I can hear it playing. I can hear, and then I can stop, and then I can retype. This is for one of the higher ed classes in the simulation lab. And then I just hit apply when I'm done and say, now it's done. I also can, in editing, I can also make some small cuts in video. And I can do that by clicking on the scissors. And I've gotten some questions from faculty about this because it's a real fact that sometimes when we're teaching in SMU Flex, or if we're teaching virtually, we're recording the session just as we're supposed to, but we leave the recording part on, and students come up and ask all sorts of questions, and we want to take all of that off the recording because that part isn't the part of teaching the course. The class was actually over by the time that recording started. And so we want to cut that section off, or the recording got turned on very, very early, and we want to kind of snip that beginning part because we just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget to press record, which I've certainly done a couple of times too. And so the scissors tool is where you can make those little cuts, those cuts in the beginning, those cuts at the end. Even if there's a bit in the middle that you want to cut, you can cut in Panopto. And Corey?
Yes, ma'am.
Typically, talk me through it if I'm not doing it correctly. But typically when we're cutting, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the blue scissors. And if we wanted to cut, for example, the first few seconds, we're going to leave that gray. And then that's us saying to Panopto that we don't need any of that part. And then we can hit apply. The nice thing about this is that Panopto, if we cut too much by accident, which is also easy to do, Panopto saves the original video for us. And so you can go back and change where these are later on. But that is one of the ways that you can trim video in Panopto. Other than that, there's not a lot of editing in Panopto itself, which is why sometimes we have people going to Adobe and some of the other products when they're looking to make videos. But when you're wanting to make an instructional video, for the most part, if you're really mainly going to be using PowerPoint, even if you're going to be showing a short video snip or something like that, Panopto absolutely can get that job done for you. And the quality is quite good. Are there any other questions? Yeah,
I got a question.
Yes, Stephen.
Yeah, it was just the difference between Panopto and PlayPosit. It looked like there are a couple more question types in PlayPosit. Is that the main difference?
That's the main difference. The other difference, there are a couple of differences, so that's a great question. And one of the other differences is that PlayPosit does not allow you to record video in PlayPosit. PlayPosit is a tool that will let you put questions on top of a video, but the video has to exist somewhere. So our videos would exist in Panopto, and PlayPosit is just like a layer of questions that sit on top of that video. And we also have ways in PlayPosit that you can put questions on top of videos from other sources as well. So if you have YouTube videos that you use often, you can use PlayPosit with YouTube. And in PlayPosit, the editing looks very much the same. After it gives you a lot of advice. Wait for it to warm up, but I'll show you some of the examples. But really, it is as easy as you saw in Panopto, where I just clicked on a spot at the video and I clicked add a question. I typed my question in. I picked my question type. If I had picked a multiple choice and I had put in the answer choices, I could have done that as well. PlayPosit is the same when I can get past the screen. There we go. All I have to do in Play Pause It, just like in Panopto, is click the button. Just like in Panopto, it said, what kind of question would you like to ask? I picked one. I typed in my question. I can keep adding options. The nice thing about Play Pause It as well is that Play Pause It can make it so that the students have to answer the question to move forward. And they also can allow learners to rewind and relook at pieces. So you can have learners in Play Pause It stop and take a look at something. You can then show them where in that video you had covered that information if you wanted to, and you can send them back to that piece of information and look at some of those again. Those are the big differences between the two. Panopto doesn't have as many answer choices, but it's videos that you create, so it's all in one spot. Play Pause It can come from several different places, has more choices, but you have to lay them on top of a video that is existing somewhere. If that's something that you're interested in, please let me know, and I can set up an account for you in Play Pause It. I'll send you some instructions on how to get started. And typically, Play Pause It does some webinars at the beginning of every term, and when I hear about those, I can let you know as well. Any other questions? Corey and I really want you to leave being able to feel like this is something that that you can take on and do, and that this is not making this instructional video, we hope, is not an intimidating thing to do. Use the tools that you're familiar with, give things a try, and test things out in small doses to see if you like how things are going. And that way you can make changes quickly and redirect if you need to. Lucas, that's a great question on how long it would take to fix the captions on about an hour-and-a-half lecture. And I will tell you that the more you work with captioning, the faster that it goes. So if it's your own lecture, it will not take as long because you know the content and you know exactly what you said, so you aren't having to replay it to figure out what some of the words are. So you could skim that pretty quickly, and I would think that you could do it in about 20-25 minutes. If it's somebody else's and you have to play it so that you can hear the words and make sure the words are correct and the sentences end in the right places, then it takes a little bit longer. Sure. And I would advise you, Corey and I, the whole ops team, we're here to help. If you're running into any snags, just email the help desk and people will be in touch with you that can help you. Your ATSDs, we've got some of them here in the session today. We've got Faye, your ATSD in Dedmon. We've got Masumi, your ATSD in Meadows. And I can't see everybody in the call, so if I missed an ATSD, I am certainly sorry, but all of them are there as well to answer questions, especially about Zoom, about Panopto, about how to make sure people can see your videos in Panopto, all of those things. We don't want you to feel like you're alone as you're trying some of this. We want you to feel supported, and we hope that you give some of this a try. About 3-hour synchronous classes with content in the main session and breakout rooms should we be captioning? Linda, that is a great question as well. And what I'll say is, number one, Zoom does not record what's in breakout rooms. So that part already will not be available for captioning. Zoom does provide its own auto-generated transcript and captioning as well, if you set it up in your settings. And if you reach out, we can show you how to do that. I will tell you that I think that they're a little bit more accurate than Panopto has been. And theirs takes a little bit longer. You'll get an email when the transcript is ready. Again, you can review it and make any changes that you want to make to it before you make it available. But if you have Zoom do it, then it's the same as Panopto. Give them time to get it done, go in, clean up a little bit. Depending on how long that main session was, would depend on how long it would take to clean some of that up. But the breakout rooms would not come across. We're also here to help with any of those kinds of small feedback moments that you'd like to put either inside the video. We're here to show you where those analytics are so you can see who's watching the videos and how. And even if you're not wanting to put some of those questions inside the videos themselves, but you want to figure out some other ways to make sure that the students are understanding the content that you're asking them to take in before you meet with them, just reach out to us. We've got lots of ideas that we can talk to you about and see what's the best fit for you and your students and your classes. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. If there's anybody else with any questions, with your feedback tools, if you can, let's just see a bit of a thumbs up. How are you feeling about making a video? Can we see are there any thumbs up? How are we feeling? Oh, good. We've got some. Yay. That's awesome. Great. That is exactly what we wanted. That's wonderful. I'm so excited. So we will be around if you need anything at all. Remember, you've got some choices. Find the choice that's the best fit for you, and we will support you and help you make sure that it's ready for students and accessible. My email address is joculver@smu.edu. And your ATSDs are also well-versed in Panopto, very well-versed in Panopto and Zoom. And they can help you out. The ops team are around as well and have been happy to come in and troubleshoot on issues that at least I couldn't figure out the answer to. Okay. So with that, thank you very much for spending an hour with us this afternoon. There's some great content later this afternoon, and there's a lot of great content tomorrow. So I hope we see you again tomorrow. If not, have a great start to spring.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.